Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Daryl Talks podcast. Today, I am going to be learning stuff because I'm talking with somebody who has already done podcasts. He's done a bit of everything. We're going to learn a lot about his jobs, but mainly it's a rugby podcast. He is the media, marketing, and community manager at Plymouth Albion, arguably one of the biggest sports places in Plymouth.
I would say so.
Welcome, Paul.
Glad to be here. I'm
Really,
excited. I'm excited.
appreciate
I
it.
haven't done a podcast in a while, so I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it.
Well,
We've got a lot to yap about.
so before we normally start with some icebreaker questions,
Yeah.
my first question to you is, if you had to meet three people, dead or alive, celebrities, who would they be?
Okay, the first one I'm going to go with, because you'll probably learn throughout the podcast. Basketball has been a huge part of my life for a long time. The first person, which it's never even an argument for me, would be Kobe Bryant. God rest his soul. He was the reason I got into basketball, and then his influence had a massive impact on my life, which created this whole new journey for me being involved in sport. And I probably wouldn't be involved in anything that I'm doing now if it wasn't for the love of the game of basketball when I was younger and his influence in just watching him. Because I believe everything starts from something and everything creates something else. And I don't think if I didn't get into that sport, then I probably wouldn't be doing half the stuff I do now. Everything happens for a reason.
What was it about him that made him so good?
He came into the league as a rookie when Michael Jordan was big. Right, everyone loved Michael Jordan, the greatest basketball player ever. Okay? Argue with anyone about that. But this young rookie stood up and took him on. I love an underdog, but I love a successful underdog, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been one for following the best. I kind of like the guy that challenges the best.
Yeah.
He's one I would always have on the table. Next one, biggest man crush that I've ever had on anybody. Big Dwayne Johnson guy. Yeah. Spitting image of me.
I was going to say you and Kobe had a.
I just rate him. I just rate his success that he's done. I don't know what it is about him. If I met him, I would give him this massive bear hug with no warning whatsoever and probably get slapped. But
He seems like a decent guy.
this is what I mean. I want people on my table that are going to be decent people. I don't want the idiot that nobody likes, but he's super famous.
I mean, so far you're going to look about 2 foot tall.
This is true.
They're going to have to put you in an adult baby chair.
Yeah, I'm okay with that if it's to meet those
Yeah,
two.
fair enough. Who is the final one?
I'm going to throw a real curveball in here right now. I have the utmost respect for people that create something and are super successful through long periods of times. I would actually, and I'm not a football fan. I wouldn't mind having David Beckham there, I wouldn't mind having Becks.
I think he's way more interesting and way smarter.
I'm not worried about that. I'm
No.
worried about his journey. I like stories. I like conversations.
Fair.
So I wouldn't mind just sitting and talking with him about his life journey and actually sort of said, yeah, but how did that make you feel? What was it like being that young and being a superstar? What was it like being hated by the whole country? And none of this cameras on you, got to say the right answer stuff. I just want to know what his real story is.
Yeah, and I'm kind of envious of how attractive he's got the older he has got.
Yeah, I want to ask him about his skincare products.
Yeah, I want to know his skin routine.
Everything. I want to know what is it like freaking when the Spice Girls came around for dinner or whatever.
Second question is, if you were stranded on a desert island, you can only have 3 objects.
Uh-huh.
What would those objects be?
My objective to get off the island?
No, you're going to get off the island.
Okay, so,
But it's gonna
eventually someone's going to come
Eventually someone's going to come and get you.
So I just got to survive.
Yeah, so what 3 things would you be taking?
How long are we talking here?
Few weeks.
I mean, this is
Few
like,
weeks.
this is crucial information. It's a no-brainer. I got to bring a massive pan with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got to eat. I got to drink.
Yeah. Massive pan.
Yeah, I can make a fire myself, right? There's trees in it, so I can make a fire. I can figure. So I'm bringing a pan straight up. Let's get the serious stuff out of the way. I need to live.
Mm-hmm.
pan. Okay. A Diablo.
Yeah. Do you like the Diablo?
Love a Diablo. It will keep me busy for ages. Like I'm very average at it,
Yeah.
right? But I'll spend so much time keeping myself busy trying new tricks.
No, I get that.
Yep. So I'll bring a Diablo. That'll keep me busy for a while.
Diablo.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming, did you?
I did not see that one coming.
A massive Lego set.
What?
Like talking Disney Castle Lego set. That'll take me quite a while to finish off. Find a nice little flat area.
I was going to say it. I was surprised you didn't. Oh, you could use the pan. Depends how big it is.
No, because you're going to have to take it off the pan to cook and have your water.
Yeah, fair.
There's no logic there.
I'm sorry. I've never done any Lego. Yeah. You've done lots, haven't you?
Got a couple of sets, yeah.
Yeah. Right. Third and final question.
Mm-hmm.
What is your biggest ick?
I got so many. So many, actually. So it's not... I'll just give you one which is like a common conversation I've had the last couple of times now. I don't like arguing with people without logic, right? So I don't like arguing and having discussions with football fans. I hate it so much because they have no logic. They have no evidence. They have no logic. They are the worst people to have arguments and discussions with. So anything I like to do in a conversation, and this is probably down to my coaching, everything's got to be evidence-based.
Okay.
And logical.
So let's get into it.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Nicholson,
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me just a ballpark of what you do?
Or right now.
Right now.
Career-wise, right now.
Career-wise, yeah.
I've been with Plymouth Albion since the start of the season, so not very long. Realistically, my job is to promote the club in a positive light on social media, on the website, increase fan engagement through the means of media, newsletters, marketing, things like that. Put the sponsors in a good light, create conversations, create topics, organize game day media, photography, videography, eventually podcast commentary, things like that. Manage a community team. So we've got 3 community coaches who go around schools doing coaching, who run rugby camps, who do all those sort of stuff. So I'd have to administrate that, organize them, make sure they're in the right places, the right times, and thinking for themselves and doing bits and bobs. Realistically, in a rugby club like this, like after coming on board, it's clear to see there's a lot of people that care about this club, and there is limited staff numbers. So everyone kind of does a bit of whatever.
Yeah.
You know, so if we're in a position that something needs doing and someone says, can you do that? You just do it. You just crack on.
No.
But my main role is the social media, is the marketing side of things, and is then running the community program.
That makes total sense. So how did you get into that?
So 15 years old, go get a job, washing dishes, happy days. So that was fine. 18 years old, I went across to be a holiday rep. Not 18 to 30.
I remember you being a holiday rep.
Yeah. All right. So I left the sunny side of Landrake and became a holiday rep, and traveled the world for 4 years, maybe 5 years. In that time, my hobbies at home were BMXing, just hanging out with mates, because you didn't sit at home and play on your phone all day and all that sort of stuff. You actually had to go out and interact with people. Scary. And when we did BMXing and things like that, and when I did a bit of snowboarding, I used to have a film camera, but with a proper cassette in it.
Oh.
You can film the videos, and we made DVDs and videos and things like that of us riding bikes and whatever else. I got a camera, I did a few photos and whatever else. I never thought anything of it except that was just quite fun. So that was my first taste of any form of media. When I got back from being a holiday rep, I went and worked for, weirdly enough, a kids' activity centre, Jump, in Plymouth. Yeah, I worked there when it first opened. And then I got picked up and I got headhunted by Plymouth Sound Radio.
Yes.
Plymouth Sound Radio.
Is that still on?
No. Black Thunder Amy was the girl. She was there to her daughter's birthday party, and I was hosting it. And she went, you need to come and work for me.
That's
I was
amazing.
like, all right, game on. So I went out an interview at Plymouth Sound and got the job at Plymouth Sound of Black Thunder crew. So going around on the microphone, interviewing people, doing some bits and bobs. I interviewed rugby teams, football teams, like the guys at Argyle when they were in the championship. Then the Plymouth Raiders guys did all that sort of stuff, doing interviews. And then I got, what did I do after that? I went into sales. So I went into sales and I worked for my dad he was a manager of a frozen food and ice cream place down in Cornwall. And from there I went and worked for Cadbury's off the back of that job. And I worked in food service for about 10 years. And whilst I was working in food service, I was also a volunteer basketball coach, junior basketball coach. And
how did that happen?
I used to play basketball when I was at Saltash School, when I went to Dutchy College. And I was quite good, to be fair, if I should say so myself. And then when I went abroad to be a holiday rep, I stopped playing. When I got back, I went to watch the team that I used to play for play. And there was no way I was going to play again properly because they improved, they all progressed. I was out drinking in Menorca.
Yeah.
So I asked a friend of mine if I could help out coaching. So I ended up being like an assistant coach to his under 18s team for a while. Within 2 seasons, he quit coaching. So it was down to me. So I was like the head coach of the under 18s team. And I was like, okay. And we traveled all over England because we were in the Premier League at the time.
Amazing.
And then I kind of just got into it. And then I ended up being level 1, level 2, then level 3, which is, there's only one qualification above that in coaching in basketball in the UK.
Wow.
And that's like a qualification which they handpick. So it's kind
of something that started as just a bit of an interest.
Yeah, it was an interest of something to do.
And you ended up taking it ridiculously.
Yeah. I didn't have an end goal for me. It was no point.
Right.
Yeah, it was great for the kids and all this sort of stuff. And it was brilliant. But for me, I needed what's next.
Yeah.
So I ended up coaching for Southwest England for 5 years. And I coached in Estonia. I coached in Prague, Poland, Belgium, France.
Yeah.
And then again, what's next?
And that was all voluntary?
That was all voluntary, yeah. So I was a volunteer coach for 20 years. I put in a lot of hours.
Yeah, I was going to say, that must be for the love.
Yeah, there is. But I also thought I was good enough to go somewhere with it.
Oh, cool.
So that also kept me inspired and kept me going. And it got to a point where I was in the UK and I was like, I've met most of the coaches in the UK now of any caliber. And I've worked with a few of them and I feel like I need the next level. And for me, the dream was always one day to go to America. So I ended up having a chat with a guy that I met at the GB basketball camp. I went to watch the GB basketball camp to watch how they coach at Great Britain. And I got in contact with their under 21s head coach at the time, a guy called Doug. And gave him a little message on Insta and was like, hey mate, like long time no see. I saw you at the camp. I had a yap with you and blah, blah, blah. Like, you got any contacts in the States? Like, I want to go do a basketball camp in America. Have to pay my own way. Just want to go get an experience. So he put me in contact with a company called Hoop Group, which is like the largest recruitment camp in the whole of the US.
Nice.
Like, it's big time, but I didn't realize how big time it was. I just thought it was an experience. So I got on the phone to this guy. He's like, yeah, if you're a friend of Doug's, you're a friend of mine. And I'm like proper American mentality.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, sweet. And I was like, look, I want to come to a camp. I want to learn. I want to watch how you guys do things. This is my resume, blah, blah, blah. He's like, nah, you ain't coming to watch. You coming, we're going to pay you and you're going to come coach. I'm like, serious? He's like, yeah, serious. I'm like, and I had a moment. I had a grown-up emotional moment. Like, sat on my kitchen floor, hand on my head, just like, I'm going to go to America and I'm going to coach basketball in America. And then I found out, say, this is the biggest recruitment camp in the States. The top 10 players in that camp will go to the NBA.
Wow.
And the names along the walls of people that have been to the camp. There was 14 basketball courts at that venue. And the worst one was better than our best one.
No way.
And
so I was going to ask, because basketball in the UK, because, Plymouth Raiders, that is quite a big thing for Plymouth.
They have a Division 3 team now. Like,
okay.
Pro basketball is done in Plymouth.
General UK and basketball is not particularly massive, is it?
The funny thing is, everyone involved thought it was. Well, no. Not everyone. Everyone probably thought it was bigger than what it was when you compare it to other sports, right?
Yeah.
It was one of the most played sports in schools across the UK, if not the most played sport in schools across the UK. Where it's let itself down is the people that are in charge of making big decisions. And I'm not talking to people in Basque. I'm talking councils across the UK. I'm talking governors and whatever else.
Yeah.
Right? That's where it's been let down because they have no idea about the sport. And there seems to be this inability to invest in something that they have no idea about.
Yeah, fair enough.
And it's the same with sometimes big sponsors. Like trying to get sponsors for rugby and football is so much easier than trying to get sponsors for basketball.
Yeah.
You're trying to persuade some 60, 70-year-old businessman why he should put his money into a sport that he has no clue about. Well, he ain't going to do it, is he?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's difficult.
He
Yeah.
isn't going to do it. And that's where it's let down. Like it's being played by so many people, then it gets to a certain level and then it like the best people have to go elsewhere to go find something.
Right.
People can make a living off it here. Don't get me wrong, plenty of people have. But you've got a league with 10 pro teams in the top division in the UK. And I've got some great friends who are still involved in basketball.
Are you still involved?
No. I made a very conscious decision after being made redundant twice.
Oh, wow.
And the club's folding twice to just go, no, I'm done with it.
Yeah.
And it upsets me that I'm done with it. But for my family and for my sanity, I had to be done with it. I had to either walk away or be all in.
Yeah.
And
Was it just too much to risk?
well, it got taken out of our hands because both pro basketball teams that got created in Plymouth disappeared and vanished. And I was like, I'm not putting my family's livelihood in any form of risk.
Yeah, that must have been really tough. Like, especially how you've just built up.
If you've
how
done
much
20
you've
years
done.
as a volunteer, you've done coaching in 7 different countries, you finally got to a position I remember sitting on the bench for the pro team as a second assistant coach for my first time for Plymouth Raiders and looking across and going, I sat at that front row when I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
And now I'm here and people are clapping me and I'm signing autographs.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? It was cool. It was like super cool. And then for someone to rip it away from you because of money issues or whatever. And Plymouth is ready for a pro basketball team, as in fan-wise.
I was just going to ask.
So Plymouth
Like,
decision makers are probably not ready. And that's what kills it. But that's not just Plymouth, that's all over the UK.
yeah.
That's all over the UK. It's such a shame because it's a love sport and there's great people involved. But people make the decisions. And that's the problem.
Did you ever struggle with your height?
For what?
Sorry.
Basketball. Or like life in general. Oh, what am I? 5'10", 5'11" for girls?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I never wanted to be a pro player. Like, well, I did, but I wasn't good enough.
It was, I would say,
Yeah. And basketball's changed anyway over the years. It's not about massive, huge Shaquille O'Neal guys anymore. It's like, they call it positionless basketball. So like you can be 7 foot and you can be doing the same thing as a 6 foot player. You can be 6 foot and be a house. It's like,
yeah,
it's quite mixed now.
Everything's
Like,
come on.
Sport's changing a little bit where
it's like forwards in rugby aren't fat anymore.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
depending what league you go in, but generally speaking. But yeah, it's positionless basketball now, so it's changed a little bit. But yeah, no, so I was coaching basketball. So going back to the work stuff, when I finished in sales, when the head coach of Plymouth Raiders came to me and asked me about working and running their academy program. And that came around because I used to, this is the dedication, right? I used to get up at 6 in the morning, about 5 in the morning, get to Marjon for 6 in the morning, maybe 6:30, coach 2 of the pro players for an hour and a half before they had pro training.
Wow.
Just because it was good experience for me and they liked my coaching. And then I was doing that for months. And then the head coach was like, do you know what? Why don't you run our academy program? Like, you've done all this stuff in Plymouth, you're coach of these junior teams. And then I came on board with Plymouth Raiders and I was one of their assistant coaches for a while. COVID season hit and everyone had to isolate in these different bubbles. So there's one head coach, one junior coach, and we all had to separate. But then junior sport stopped and only pro sport existed. So they needed someone to run the media. And I was like, I've done a bit of media, I've done a bit of filming, I like photography. I ran social media for the development program as a volunteer. I'll do it. Yeah. And before I know it, I'm like, I'm doing podcasts, I'm doing commentary, I'm doing media, I'm doing photography, I'm doing videography.
So it's like a crash course, like an intense
it's
crash course.
I am not qualified in any of this. Don't tell my boss. I'm not qualified in any of it. I'm just like, the only thing I'm qualified in, the only thing I can sit up and got a big certificate for is basketball coaching.
Yeah.
And obviously some really underachieved GCSEs and whatever else. I've just had to learn and just speak to people and learn off the cuff and figure it out. And like, you wouldn't have got me on the podcast before I become a holiday rep because I was horrendous at public speaking. Awful. My first day as a holiday rep, I sat on a microphone in front of 100 people to do a welcome to your resort speech. Started shaking, bottled it, and had to walk off stage.
No way.
And all these things just happened and happened and happened, and it just got to a point. And then when I went on board, so when Raiders disappeared and went into liquidation, a new team was formed in Plymouth, and it was me and the old head coach of Raiders were the first two members of staff on board. So I ran the media for them.
Okay.
And that was like from scratch.
Did you just decide, actually I quite like this?
Well, yeah, I knew the guy, so I heard who the guy was who was going to create the club. He was like a local business guy who was going to be the general manager. And so I got in touch with him straight away and I was like, look, I'm happy to come on board. Like, obviously I can do a bit of coaching. I can do a bit of sales. I can do a bit of media, so I'm going to have to, because that's the reality of when you're trying to build this team from the bottom up. But there was like the general manager and two members of staff. And then you got to recruit loads of volunteers and whatever else. So I did a bit of coaching, I did a bit of media, and I did a bit of sales, which is very difficult to do. And it would be like...
Sounds like...
And I did it because I love basketball. And I didn't want to let the kids down, so they needed a coach. And I didn't want to let the guy down who was trying to create a club. And I didn't want to let the head coach down because he gave me an opportunity. So it's like, you bust your ass, you do more hours and you're doing it for like minimum wage. Like, that wasn't a glamorous, like, it's not like, oh, he's works for a sports team, he's going to be on great money or anything like that. It was like, we're all trying to scrape the barrel for budgets and find money to do whatever we can do with it. And if we find money, it goes towards the players so we can get better players in the team so we can try and win games and whatever else. So we're scraping the barrel completely. And I was working, I couldn't tell how many hours I worked, like, just ridiculous.
So
like,
this thing, did you have like a spouse or?
Yeah, I had my wife who is so freaking supportive. It's unbelievable. Too supportive in a way where like I've had to come home twice to her. So when it finished Raiders, she was pregnant and I was in a primary school coaching and I had to run to reception because there was an emergency phone call for me. Picked up the phone call and it was like, Paul, once you've finished, go home, the club's done.
No, it was just a phone call.
What else can you do? I'm in the middle of a coaching session in a primary school.
Yeah.
Otherwise I'm going to find out on social media, which is another story of the next job. And I had to drive home all the way from flipping up in Plymstock way. Going, I'm just about to go back and tell my pregnant wife that I've lost my job. And it's like,
that must have seemed like the longest
drive ever. Yeah. And all social media's blowing up because all the news is broken. All the fans are phoning you and like, oh my God, what are we going to do on our Saturdays? Oh, I don't give a shit. I've got to go freaking pay my mortgage and tell my pregnant wife I ain't got a job.
Yeah.
I don't care about your Saturdays now.
People,
obviously I do care about their Saturdays now, but you know what I mean?
I know,
in the moment, you're like
why would you? You've got to put you first.
And she was supportive and whatever else. And I said to her at a stage, a few, months down the line, we're at a stage where we're going to create a new basketball club. And she was like, right. She's got a chance to be part of this great thing and we could build this club up and it could be amazing. We might be able to get our own arena. We might be able to do this. We might be able to do that on all this stuff that I've been informed of. Okay, I'll support you. we can do it. It'll be on a minimum wage though. Not ideal, but we can do it. You know, and she's super, super supportive with all of it. And then, lo and behold, similar things happened. Different scenario, but same thing happened. But I found out on social media that we're all going to lose our jobs. Because our club, even though we had a general manager, he didn't own the franchise.
Right, okay.
The franchise of the club was owned by the league.
Right.
Because they kept the franchise. When Raiders went into liquidation, they kept the league kept the franchise, and they wanted a club from Plymouth in the league. So Patriots was created, and this guy Carl was put as the general manager, and then they employed us as staff. The league got bought by this Miami-based billionaire, 777. If you're into football, you would have heard about Everton, where it nearly got bought out, right? Same people.
Oh, okay.
So when they went to buy Everton, they got investigated for all sorts of stuff, corruption and fraud and whatever else. So they then distinguished loads of their assets. They had like 6-7 airlines all went into liquidation. They had football teams overseas went into liquidation. And they binned off our league.
Completely?
Yeah. So like I had a day off. It was like 10 in the morning. And a social media post came out saying, breaking news, anyone employed by the British Basketball League has to cease work immediately and will not be getting paid. And I'm like,
what?
Well, the league own us. That means we're employed by the British Basketball League.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sat with my wife and my toddler, and I'm like, I think I've just lost my job. Like, no one knew because no one told us. So we found out through social media, and then like so forth. And then I'm in that position again.
See, it seemed like,
and I'm like, God damn, like, what does it take to like, you know, I'm lucky to be in a position where I got paid to coach basketball and to be involved in sport. But to go through that twice, and it was just like,
how did you like dust yourself off?
I'm quite a resilient guy. I've been through some crap. Like, I'm quite a resilient guy.
Yeah.
And some people could call it cold-hearted, but I'm that sort of guy that something crap happens and I'm like, all right, what's next?
Right.
It doesn't mean I don't care about it because I have my moments. Don't worry. I have my moments where I just completely break down.
Yeah.
And I had plenty of moments where I broke down. It's probably not healthy. It's definitely not healthy. But I was like, I really struggled. I mentally really struggled for a few months, and I was trying to find a job. And I applied for 30 jobs in this period of time. I got 2 interviews.
That's mad, isn't it?
I was pulling my hair out. I ended up working at Domino's for a while. So I was at Domino's for a few months, delivering pizzas. And I remember knocking on one person's door and delivering their pizza, and it was an old season ticket holder of ours. And I left that, and I went home, and I couldn't sleep that night. And I was like...
You must have wanted to like peel your skin off.
Yeah.
Is there any way I can kind of
like, a couple of years ago, I swear I signed an autograph for your kid.
No.
And now I'm delivering your pizza.
Somewhere, somebody once said that you're only ever 2 weeks away from being homeless or something.
And I was just, it was distraught. And I'm a big believer in make connections, be nice to people, and someday it'll pay off.
Yeah.
So once we left up, this is the sort of people that you can meet and involved in the game. Like, I carried on coaching the kids after we lost our job, and we all did. Everyone at Patriots did, because we wanted the kids to finish their season.
Yeah.
So we did all that for free.
That's nice.
One of the mums came up to me and said, Paul, you know Max from Albion, don't you? I said, yeah, I used to go to school with him. She's like, all right, and we got chatting and whatever else. Nothing came from that, and that was that. A few weeks later, I have a text message from Max. Spoke to a parent that you know, who's friends with our family. You might want to come in and have a chat with me. I was like, all right, let's do it. Let's have a chat. And I came into Albion, like in between pizza shifts, literally. Like, I think I was in my Domino's gear, maybe, potentially. And I was saying to Max, and I know Max when he was younger. We used to ride like BMX bikes together occasionally,
yes.
Things like that, right? Like, because we were cool as hell. And then he was like, I said to him, I don't want to be involved in sport ever, Max. It's killed me. Like, I'm broken. And at this time, I actually had an interview and a potential job lined up with Brittany Ferries, an office job. Like, I don't know how I would have ever adapted to doing like a 9 to 5. I don't think I would have. I think it would have been a real struggle for me, to be honest. Within 2 weeks, I'm working for it. He was like, do you want to just do like game days only? I was like, all right, yeah, okay, cool. He goes, I'll pay you a wage, just come in and run our social media for a game. Fine. Then he was like, can you do like part-time? I was like, yeah, I could do part-time. Maybe I can do it on top of my other job. When I get that job, start that job. Okay, yeah. Then within a couple of weeks, I'm phoning him up saying, Max, is an offer still on the table for full-time? Because I quite like this.
Nice.
And then, yeah, before I know it, I'm stood pitchside filming rugby. I ain't got a clue about rugby. Clueless, like literally clueless.
No, I'm the same and I play it.
Yeah, it seems like there were a lot of players to it. And I'm like, but I'm loving it. It's great. It's great atmosphere. The players are great. The staff at Plymouth Albion are incredible. I remember that first game and we scored, right? We scored a try. I know we scored a try because the ball went over. But they
Touchdown.
put the ball down. Like, right? Okay. And I'm like, I don't even know how many points you get. I'm looking at the scoreboard and when that scoreboard changes, I'll update social media then. Got a clue how many points the try is. And then the strangest thing happened. And I'm like, we ran over the line and everyone starts cheering. And I'm looking, I'm like, no one's put the ball down.
Right.
Like, no one's put the ball down. Why is everyone cheering? And I was like, there's a fan behind me. I'm like, what happened? He's like, mate, it's a penalty try. He's like, who are you? And I said, I'm the social media manager. He goes, he looked too like
Just rolled his eye.
And I was like, okay, cool. So I'm sitting there waiting. Where's the conversion? I said. He said, it's not a conversion, mate. They just get 7 points. I'm like, what did they get 7 for? I'm like, what? I got no clue what's going on. Now I have a better idea. I still have no idea with certain things, but I'm getting there with it. And it's just like, it was quite a nice, I like being part of building something. And Albion are building something. The Venables family are building something here.
Yeah. We're doing this interview. What's this room called? The bar.
This is like the VP bar, so like the vice president bar,
nice.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're doing this in here, and because I parked in the wrong bit, I've driven around it a couple of times.
Yeah.
And there's so much work going on.
Well, we got the Brickfields renovation with Plymouth Argyle Community Trust and the Academy program at Argyle. Obviously, we got the stands here for Albion. You got the gyms out back. Got the marquees and whatever else. They're building something here. You know, there's a plan. There's an ambition. There's a future for Albion.
So much bigger than the last time I came here, which was which was a long time ago. But you can there's a feel about the place.
I like to be at places where I have an impact, and I feel like I have an impact, and you're treated like you have an impact. There's some jobs that I've had, and I won't call anyone out for it. You're just a number.
Yeah.
And you work your nuts off for someone just to go, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Like, we're here, you work your nuts off and someone says thank you.
Yeah.
Right.
It goes a long ways, doesn't it, sometimes?
Yeah. And people go, that's really good.
We appreciate
or that's
what
really
you're
bad.
doing.
And they talk to you and they be honest with you and you can see the impact you have. And that's what I like here. Like, you got the general manager, Nick, you got Max, you got Ellie, you got Charlotte, you got the coaching staff, you got the players and the volunteers, and like they're all just nice people and they appreciate that something's happening. And if Albion ever get promoted or whatever else, that's always the goal, then I would instantly feel like I've had an impact in that. And that's nice.
Yeah, of course.
Not to just go like.
So where are Plymouth Albion at the moment?
So we're in the third tier.
Yeah.
So above us, you've got the Championship and the Premiership. We are sitting sixth for the minute. We've won 4 games in a row. Ambition is, we might be able to get 4th, 3rd this season potentially, but I think we've lost a few games, too many already. Because we're now in the second half of the season. But I feel the ambition of the club and the growth of the club is in a good place, a stable financial place, which is the most important thing for all of this stuff.
Absolutely.
Where next season they can maybe look at trying to get promotion and win the league. Hopefully, the facilities are up to scratch for it. They're ready for Championship.
I was going to say,
the revenue's decent. There's good sponsors. There's good events going on.
There just seems to be so much happening.
There is. There's always something. You could come in here and see all these people wandering around and they're nothing to do with rugby.
Yeah.
Because there could be like an event going on in the marquee. There's physio department underneath the stands. There's NHS involved. There's a people hiring out the gym. We're organising a flipping music festival here. Not just renting the ground to a music company. We're organising the festival.
That's great.
Like a 3-day music festival in Brickfields, in Plymouth Albion. Tickets, ruckus.live.
Post a link.
The feeling that come into play here.
Yeah.
The
The feeling. So it's cool.
I could be interviewing the feeling.
No way.
You know, so they're coming here. It's going to be incredible. Like there's some really good cover bands coming down here as well. And there's some decent musicians.
Just for, who came up with the idea?
I remember Max walking into, you go, Paul, what's going to tell you? I'm like, all right, yeah, cool. So we're going to run a music festival here. Okay, cool. Oh, you're going to run the media for it. So what now? Yeah, organise the photographers, videographers, run all the social media. So what? So next week I'm designing graphics for the feeling.
No way.
I'm like, what? I have no idea what's going on.
It just sounds like this job's a bit surreal. Like, you know, there's just,
This
You
is
never
why
know what's gonna
this is why I
happen.
would have mentally struggled in 9 till 5.
fair enough.
These jobs aren't 9 till 5 stuff. Like there's this glamour of the sports industry where people think, oh my God, it's amazing to work in
Yeah.
sport. It's a dream job. Mate, it's hard work. Like, and you have to work hard. You have to, and you have to trust everyone because like I might not see Max for like a whole week, but he has to have the trust in me that he knows that I'm doing my job. Like social media doesn't rest.
Yeah, because
What do you do when you're home? Pick up your phone, you're on social media, right?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, like it doesn't rest. So we have a game at the weekend. Let's say the game finishes at 5 o'clock in the evening. Score graphics, player of the match graphics, coach interview, player interview, photos of the game, video highlights, match report to the local press. You know, next day, Sunday. They want that in the paper by Monday. They've got to be up on social media. Like, so it's not a job where you can clock out. Like I can be on my phone walking around town and wife's like, what are you doing? Oh, I just got to quickly do a social media post. Something's happened. Or like breaking news, someone's injured or we sign a new player, like make a graphic. Like sometimes she hates me for it.
I was going to say, like, because
Yeah,
I
for
get,
sure.
I also
And
get in trouble, but I understand it. Like, I understand the frustration.
oh no, I've been on holiday and I'm like, she's like, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. She's like, no, what are you doing? I'm like, nothing. Are you making a social media post? Maybe. Like, Paul, why do you spend 2 hours in the toilet? Oh yeah, because I'm doing a score graphic.
But it's a sanctuary.
Yeah, like she's like, it's no coincidence that like you go to the toilet and then 2 minutes later a post comes up on that Plymouth Albion like Facebook page. Like, yeah, maybe.
That's incredible. But on the social media bit, what is your opinion on social media?
Love it.
Yeah?
This is what people don't understand of social media, right? Everyone's like, oh, it's the devil. Well, not everyone, obviously, right? Everyone,
Yeah. No.
like, you know what I mean? They're like, oh, I hate social media. Social media is whatever you want it to be, right? So an algorithm will show you what you want to see, right? There's no trick in the algorithm, okay? And what I mean by that is if you're on social media and you watch one funny cat video, you're going to see funny cat videos come up on your social media for the next couple of weeks
Yeah.
until you push a button saying, I am not interested in this. Then social media will throw suggestions at you. And if you watch them, it will throw them again at you, right? Social media is the future. AI is the future. Like everyone thinks AI is cheating. No, it's not. You still got to learn how to use it properly to get the best out of it.
Absolutely.
Like
There is a mastery in it as
for
well.
sure. I use AI all the time. I'm not afraid to do so. You know, it's not cheating. So like,
No, it's a tool, isn't it?
it's a tool. It's how you use it. Like you could, let's say we had a specific thing we wanted to create. Let's say it was, I don't know, pirate dog. Okay.
Yeah.
You could go on social media and you could type in, make me a pirate dog picture. Ping. Within 5 seconds, you got a pirate dog. If I went on there and went, make me a pirate dog, but I wanted to have blue this, red that, curves here, type this in, blah, 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 blah. My pirate dog will be better than it
Yeah.
because I've inputted it in more detail, in a better way and worded it well. And it's the same for if you were to write an article, if I was to write an article, the more information you feed it, the way you feed that information, the better article you're going to get written for yourself.
Yeah, it's good at content, but not good at context. So you've got to put that in.
Oh, God, yeah, for sure.
And all of a sudden, so I had an experience the other day where somebody said to me, "Oh, what are you doing?" I said, "Oh, I'm just getting an email up from ChatGPT."
Yeah.
And they were like, "What? So you can't even write your own emails now?" I was like, "No."
Why do you need to?
What? No, yeah. And I felt like I had to condone it, but
You don't. This is the problem. When people realize you don't have to, and it's not cheating.
yeah, what I would have done, it did it better.
You have a chance, right? You have a chance to do something and make it better. In any other industry, why wouldn't you take that chance?
Absolutely. You like a bit of TikTok, don't you?
I do like a little bit of TikTok.
So
I'm obsessed with
you
TikTok.
currently, well, when I last checked, have, what is it, 46,000 followers?
Possibly. Let's have a look. 48.3.
48, oh, so that's more than, like...
Nearly 50,000, eh?
Yeah. So, right.
Ooh-wee. Go TikTok.
How does one get...
58,000 followers.
Yeah, so I've just started...
It's an exciting journey, mate. Strap yourself.
Yeah, and I'm like at the bottom of the cesspit right now.
Been there.
How did that happen?
So it happened by coincidence, if I'm honest with you. I was fully guilty of going, TikTok's for kids. It's just bloody dances, right? So I was that social media cynic at that point. But the British Basketball League, they were doing a big push on TikTok, and they were going to start streaming live games on TikTok, and they wanted all the clubs to expand their TikTok and blah, 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 get more reach out there and things like that. So I was like, right, cool. So download TikTok on my phone. I'm like, right, do you know what? I need to learn how to do this. So downloaded TikTok, created myself an account, made my first TikTok video, 5,000 views on it, something like that. I'm like, that seemed pretty easy.
That is the beauty of it, of the beginning.
Yeah,
bit,
yeah.
isn't it? You're like, hold on a second. I can't get this on my own Facebook. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
because the algorithm works differently and people function differently on TikTok than they do on Facebook. So I started using TikTok, and then it was my job to create TikTok accounts for all of our basketball players and the club. So we created all these TikTok accounts for the players so they can run their own TikToks or whatever. Some bought into it, some really didn't. Some have got quite famous on it, some haven't. Got a bit bored of that, and I started doing some other videos, and I couldn't find my niche. And the more I learned about TikTok, the more I changed my content. And TikTok will reward you for being consistent. TikTok benefits from you doing well, because TikTok makes money if you do well.
there's more people looking.
More people look, more people gift you, more people do this, right? And TikTok gets a cut, right? So the TikTok algorithm is built for success. So you have to be consistent. Through lockdown, I was super consistent because there was nothing else to do. So I posted at least 5 TikTok videos a day, every day.
Wow.
Every day. And it built, and it built, and it built, and it built. I changed my niche, it went down a little bit. I changed my niche, it went down a bit more. I found the perfect niche, and it pushed it back up, So now I only post 1 video a day. But my video is always every morning. I go live on TikTok. It's every morning. It's consistent. So the algorithm now knows where to push stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's
So
easier.
you go live every single morning?
Most, yeah.
No
Sometimes I
way.
don't. Sometimes I don't because it varies on little one waking up
Of course.
or what time I got to get to work or whatever. But I would say out of 7 days a week, minimum of 4 I'll be on live or so. Yeah.
That's great.
Half an hour, maybe an hour. Depends what time I wake up.
Yeah.
But the algorithm now has an easy job with me because it knows what time it's pushing stuff out. It knows who it's pushing it to. It knows the market it's going to go to, right? Because imagine if you did one day you did a video of football, one day you did a video of basketball, one day you did a video of music. The algorithm's like, where am I putting this stuff?
That's what I struggle with.
It's a shop window.
Yeah.
It's a shop window, and the algorithm puts you in certain shop windows.
Because I do podcasts
But
about...
there'll be a place for that. So someone come, like all my stuff now is on about Disney, right? So all my stuff is
I was
Disney.
just about to say, you haven't mentioned your niche yet.
We're a Disney madhouse. Right, and that all started from my wife, and I can tell that story as our final.
Yeah, that'd
Right.
be brilliant.
Someone going, oh, Disney's for kids, mate. I'm like, right, bring it on. I'm ready for this, you know?
I get it.
So, yeah, Disney is my niche. Never used to be, but it is. That's my niche. It's going to stay with now, and it's been forever. We're a Disney family, and I'm not afraid to say so.
I mean, after the endurance that your wife's had to put up with you and your
So at least
career,
over her.
exactly. So compromises have
when
to
we
be made.
met, right? You know, it's like when you meet someone, you go on dates and whatever else, right? I was like, yeah, what's your hobbies? And I'm like, oh, yeah, I like basketball. I'm a coach, and I do this and I do that, and blah 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 blah. I'm like, oh, I really like Disney. You're like, okay, cool, yeah, it's all right now. Yeah. Like, I've watched your film,
Lion King. Ooh.
there was Simbaris and whatever, and his dad died and stuff, and I get it. So first day came round, I put some Disney music on because I'm freaking, you do what you got to do, right? And later down the line,
smooth.
I found out that she's generally obsessed with it. Like, it's her thing, big time. Like, she's watched every film. She has all the merchandise. She has the clothing. She like everything, right? But like, and I was like, no, she really likes it. Like, likes that's her life. And she had a lot of childhood trauma, right? And she wouldn't mind me saying this, but she had loads of childhood trauma. Yeah. And Disney as a kid was her way of just getting away from it all and making her think that everything's going to be okay and there's going to be a happy ever after and all that sort of stuff, right? I respect that. I am never going to judge someone for liking something, unless it's like terrorism and stuff.
Well, the illegals.
Yeah. And obviously there's a relationship through, and she moved into my house and she brought the old Disney thing in. I was like, whatever. I'm cool with that because my walls are just like white with no photos on, right?
Typical bloke sort of like.
Yeah. So she's like, I want to put this up here, put this up here, put this up here. I got some Mickey Mouse bed. She's always, what that? Some Mickey Mouse bed. She's like, all right, whatever. All right, cool, crack on. I'm cool with it because I was like, that's her thing. So we went on holiday. So I booked to go to Florida to coach basketball in a high school in Florida. And we're like, let's extend our holiday for another week. So I'll go coaching for a week and we'll go to, this was like, I don't know how many years into a relationship now. So it's very serious by now.
Yeah,
we're living together and whatever else, right? We'll go Disney for a week as well. So we booked Disney for a week, stayed in a Disney hotel in Florida. And I was like, before we went, I was like, I'm proposing to Disney. I'm going to boss this. Like, I am going to be the guy.
Yeah.
So I got the ring and whatever else, and we went to Disney, did my coaching, loved that. Then we went and we stayed in a Disney hotel. That was cool. And I was still like, at this point, I'm still like, yeah, Disney's cool. Yeah, great, well done. Like, we walked through the gates of Disney, and I kid you not, I was just like, wow, I get it.
Yeah.
It was insane. You turn into this child that I looked around and I saw Tigger and I'm like, oh my God, it's Tigger.
Yeah.
I was like proper hype. So I'm like, oh my God, what did I just say? So anyway, so I got the ring in my pocket and I was like, right, okay, going to propose. Going to do it. We're going to go for dinner in the castle. Princesses are going to come out and I'm going to propose and I'll be the boss. Got up for dinner in the castle and she's like, oh, I'm not feeling very well. She's like, for halfway through dinner, we're in the freaking Disney castle. I'm not feeling very well. My stomach's really bad. So my wife also has a disability. She has a Ehlers-Danlos syndrome.
What's that?
It's a connective tissue disorder, but it also has chronic fatigue and a few other side effects.
Wow.
It's like an invisible disability, they call it. So one day you'd look at her, you go, fine.
Yeah.
Next day she can't get out of bed. So it varies. So I was like, right, okay, cool. Let's go get some fresh air. We'll watch the fireworks. And I was like, that's fine. I'll go propose at the fireworks. Fireworks goes off.
Yeah.
I'm down on one knee still behind her. So we get out to watch the fireworks. And she's like, no, generally I'm not feeling very well. I think we should go back to the hotel. And I'm like, God damn it. Gonna have to wait till tomorrow now. I've got a ring in my pocket and everything. Yeah. So we get on the Disney bus. So the Disney bus takes you back to your hotel. So I'm on the Disney bus. And then all of a sudden, click in my head. Oh my God, I told the hotel staff to decorate the room to say congratulations. Because I know she was going to say yes. Because I was like, here's an awesome proposal. How can you say no?
Yeah,
of right?
course.
And I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? She's like freaking curled up in a ball in the bus. I'm like, Sophie, we're going to have to go to reception first. No, I just want to go back. I'm not feeling very well. Like, no, we're going to go reception because I'm going to try and get some stuff for you to make you feel better from the shop. I'm just making crapper.
Yeah.
On the spot.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I want to go back for the room. I've never felt like more of a dick.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, Sophie, we are going back to the reception. We need to sort this out and you're coming with me. I never speak like that ever. And she looked at me like, oh, okay. And she was so mad at me. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
And We get off the bus. Bear in mind, she's feeling horrible and she's disabled. Right? And I run to reception ahead of her. Just leave her to like crawl to reception, basically. And run to reception. I'm like, mate, you need to take all the stuff out of the room. And he went, oh no. She said no. I don't know why I did that in a French accent. We're in America. And I was like, no, she didn't say no. She did not say no. It just didn't work. It's like, she's not feeling very well. Just stop talking to me. Go get it out of the room. And he's like, okay, and off he went. So he ran to the room.
He's like the guy, you sounded like the guy of them 40 Towers.
I don't know. And then, so she's like, what's going on, Mum? Oh yeah, they're just trying to look for some stuff for you.
Probably.
So she's like crawling to reception. And I'm like, oh, I'm going to get them to get a little golf buggy and they can drive you back to the room. Paul, I'm going back to the room. I've had enough.
Yeah.
Oh, crap. I was like, okay. So I walked in front of her like a absolute douche of a husband would do. Future husband. She must be like, what are you doing? Like, I'm not feeling very well and you're walking in front of me. You're not even helping me. Because I just didn't want to get around the corner and her to see anything going on. As I walk around the corner, the guy's running out with a freaking congratulations balloon around his shoulder in the other direction. I'm like, ugh. So I slow down.
It's like something out of a sitcom or a film or something.
Finally get into the room and it's all done. And I had to go into the bathroom before she did. I hid the ring because there was nowhere to hide the ring in the room. Like, I'm panicked. So I run to the bathroom. I hid it behind the toilet or something. So I'm like, right, fine, go sleep. She feels better in the morning. Happy days. So I wake up in the morning and I'm like, do you know what I'm going to do? As soon as we get to there, let's go get a picture taken of the castle, Sophie, and I'll propose to her in front of the castle. Lovely. Woke up, pissing down with rain. Like, come on.
Good job you don't believe in signs.
I know, right? And so we went to, I was like, let's go see Mickey Mouse. We'll go have a photo with him. It's indoors. So I went in, we go to see Mickey Mouse. And I'm in the queue to get Mickey Mouse. I'm like, do you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna propose to her in front of Mickey Mouse. And I was like, can I get the bag quickly? Because the ring was hidden in the bag and she had the bag. I'll rummage through the bag to the guest and I hide it in my hand and pull out a drink. And she's like, what are you doing? I'm thirsty. You just had a drink. I'm like, yeah, thirsty. Ring goes in my pocket.
Sleight of hand.
Yeah. We walk into the room where Mickey Mouse is. And I said to the guy taking the pictures, I like I was like I was dealing drugs.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I put my hand in my pocket and I show him like the palm of my hand. Yeah. And like, hey, I got this. And he looks at me like, oh. And he tells all his colleagues, he gives them a nudge and whatever. Oh boy. Yeah. You know. And then we get there. Photos taken with Mickey Mouse. She's facing the other way. I was like, my chance. Get down on one knee. She turns around. I didn't even get to say, will you marry me or whatever. She just jumps. I'm like, yes. Right. I'm like, but then she turns around. She leaves me on. I'm on the floor with one knee.
Yeah, yeah.
She just turns around and gives Mickey Mouse a hug. I'm like, mate, really?
Yeah, yeah.
I went through all that crap for you to hug a flipping 7-foot mouse.
That is an incredible story.
And like, it finally, and honestly, the weight off my shoulders when that was done was unbelievable.
I bet.
But that week at Disney, back to what I actually achieved by that, I got it. It's magical. It's special. It's unbelievable. It's just amazing to turn into that kid and experience that. And then she felt more confident then as well to start like expressing herself of how like she is a Disney adult. Yeah. And I got clothes now and whatever else. My watch has got Buzz Lightyear on it. Like, and now we go every year to Paris, Disney Paris every year.
I've been there once.
Love it.
And we really enjoyed it.
Love it. So our house is fully Disney decorated.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that, there's not a single room without some form of silhouette of a mouse in it. My splashback on our oven is Remy from Ratatouille. Like we have a Mickey Mouse sink. The soap dishes like have ears. The taps have ears.
Oh my God.
It's insane. We even got featured on news sites and stuff because of it.
No way.
She got entered into a competition of like UK's biggest Disney fans. And now we got friends who are cast members in Disney Paris and stuff as well.
Do you know what? In a really, really odd way, I'm so envious of people that are that passionate about something. I've never had it.
It got to a point, right? So I spent my whole, I would say majority of my life worrying about what people think of me. I was so conscious of everything. Had to be cool, had to be this, had to be that, had to look this way, had to wear those types of clothes. Always, like most of my life. in anything, even when basketball came around. Got to make sure I got these shoes on. I want to make sure I look the part. I want to make sure I do that. And it got to this weird point. And then it continues now. Now I have a child, like I'm a new dad. And I'm like, do you know what? There's a lot to be said if someone can just say, I like this, and I don't give a shit what you think.
It honestly, like, it's just the passion bit for me. Somebody feels so strongly about something.
It's just you like something, right? If you like something, like, be happy about it.
I really appreciate people who don't give a shit.
And it's taken me a while to get to that stage.
Of course.
And it took me probably quite a few knocks to get there. And I'm just like, no, this is what we like.
Yeah.
End of.
No.
You know what I mean?
I honestly totally get it.
And she got that out of me, I think. Without me realising it, she got that out of me. That's my wife's doing. Because I was so conscious of everything.
Yeah. No, I think any form of individuality within reason is just outstanding. And it's so nice to hear the way you talk about your wife. So what have you got coming up then? Paul the person, what have you got coming up in life? What are you
If I'm honest
for?
with you, I want like the starting point of consistency now. Like help my child become a good person. Move into our forever home is the plan, and continue this career with Plymouth Albion, which is my final career. That's what I wanted to be now. I want to be, there's a lot to be said to just being consistent and being comfortable.
Yeah.
Like I don't need to be the richest guy in the world. I just need to be comfortable.
Yeah.
And I need my family to be comfortable. Like work-wise, we've got so much going on here at Plymouth Albion. We've got the Ruckus Festival coming up. We've got St. Luke's Men's Day Out coming up. We've still got half a season to come here. There's fixtures going on, so there's lots of work there's always lots of work to do.
Well, Paul, thank you so much. I really, really
I think we covered everything.
I think we covered
some.
And some, but we knew this. We had planned this in our previous chat, and to sort of say, look, we're going to have to give some leeway because we both like talking.
Obviously, I want to big up to where we are at Plymouth Albion as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is anyone listening who's never been to a Plymouth Albion rugby game, get in touch with Daryl. He'll get in touch with me, and we'll get you to a game free of charge. If you've never been to a game.
If there is multiple people, I will do just a random name generator from there.
We'll sort something out. Multiple people we can work with. If 200 people, that's great for you. There's 200 people who listen to the episode. But I ain't giving you 200 tickets, right?
Yeah.
But obviously, please come and see us here at Albion. Come watch some games. Come to the music festival, ruckus.live.
4th, 5th, and 6th of July.
It's going to be epic. It's going to be a ruckus.
It's going to be a ruckus. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Really hope you enjoyed it as much as I've had doing it. For now, cheers.